a fortress built for silence. Tucked deep within the rugged embrace of Utah's Wasatch Mountains, Post Malone's mansion doesn't just whisper luxury, it hums with solitude. Glass walls stare out at endless valleys, firelight flickers against stone, and somewhere inside, a melody is being written. But why did one of the world's loudest stars vanish into the quiet? Tonight we unlock the doors to his ranch, his riches, and the life he chose beyond the noise. Before the tattoos, before the diamond records, before the mansion built to survive the end of the world, there was just Austin. Austin Richard Post. Born on July 4th, 1995 in Syracuse, New York, his entrance into the world was marked by fireworks. A strange coincidence, perhaps, for someone who'd later light up the charts like the night sky. His father, Richard Post, a former DJ, played everything, from hip-hop to country, from grunge to classic rock. Music wasn't just around Austin, it was in him. And when the family moved to Grapevine, Texas, the soundtrack didn't fade. It got louder. But who could have guessed that the boy who played Guitar Hero for hours would one day outsell the very rock stars he idolized? Austin didn't start as a rapper. He didn't even start with hip-hop. His first real shot was as a guitarist in a local metalcore band, an experiment that crashed and burned when a string snapped during his audition for Crown the Empire. It could have ended there. But instead, that rejection sparked a new path. He downloaded FL Studio. He recorded in closets. He watched YouTube tutorials like they were gospel. And from that mess of beats and heartbreaks came one name, Post Malone, chosen from a rap name generator when he was just 14. At 16, he released his first mixtape, YATR, Young and After Them Riches, handing it out to classmates at Grapevine High. His peers voted him most likely to become famous, a teenage prophecy written in Sharpie. By 2015, he was in Los Angeles, broke but hungry, sharing a house in the San Fernando Valley with friends, chasing something no one could yet see. And then, White Iverson happened. 2 days after writing it, he uploaded the song to SoundCloud. A month later, it had 1 million plays. Suddenly, Post Malone wasn't just a username on the internet, he was a sensation. Mac Miller called him the future. Wiz Khalifa gave him props. Even Kanye West came knocking. Within months, he signed with Republic Records, and the roller coaster took off. Collaborations with 50 Cent, Justin Bieber, Young Thug, and Kanye himself on the track Fade. He went from playing dive bars to performing at Kylie Jenner's birthday party, to opening for Bieber's Purpose World Tour. Then came Stoney, his debut album. Critics called it mediocre. Post called it honest. And the world? The world played it on repeat. Congratulations, featuring Quavo, broke through the noise, landing him in the Billboard Top 10. But Post wasn't done, not even close. In 2018, beer bongs and Bentleys exploded. It shattered Spotify streaming records on day one, over 78 million plays. Songs like Rockstar, Psycho, and Stay became anthems of a generation. Suddenly, Post Malone wasn't just riding the wave of success, he was the wave. He followed with Hollywood's Bleeding, 12 Carat Toothache, and most recently, Austin and F1 Trillion. Each album was a new chapter, each tour bigger than the last. He sang with Sway Lee for Spider-Man, jammed with the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Grammys, and even covered Nirvana, raising millions for COVID-19 relief from his Utah home. But even as the spotlight grew brighter, Post's eyes drifted elsewhere, to a place where he could hear himself think, to a state where the mountains stand taller than fame, to Cottonwood Heights, Utah. He had conquered the charts. Now, he needed peace. So why does a global star build a bunker mansion in the wilderness? To understand that, we have to step inside. Because what Post built in Utah is more than real estate. It's a reflection of everything he's become, and everything he's trying to hold on to. And it's right there, beneath the peaks, where the next chapter begins. Ranch in Utah. It doesn't just sit in Utah, it disappears into it. Post Malone's Cottonwood Heights estate isn't the kind of house you stumble across. It's the kind you seek out, hidden at the end of winding roads, behind a veil of pine trees and silence. Tucked on a 7-acre stretch in the Wasatch Mountains, this $4 million fortress is more than a mansion. It's a sanctuary, a shelter. Some call it his end-of-the-world bunker. But here's the real question. What does a global music icon find in the mountains that he couldn't find in Malibu, Miami, or Manhattan? Let's walk in. Step through the stone-framed entryway and feel the shift. Time slows. The noise outside fades. You're in Post's world now. One where steel and wood, glass and firelight all collide to create something hauntingly calm. At over 13,000 square feet, the ranch sprawls like a private mountain resort. Its bones are built from nature, weathered stone, black timber, brushed metal, and walls of glass that stretch from floor to ceiling. Light doesn't enter. It floods. The views? They aren't framed. They're invited. In the great room, a massive stone fireplace crackles beneath vaulted ceilings. The furniture? Understated, masculine, warm, deep leather, charcoal textiles, raw wood. This isn't a place for marble floors and chandeliers. It's a space that speaks Post's language, grounded, moody, and personal. To the left, the kitchen unfolds like a chef's daydream. Black granite countertops, built-in wine fridges, high-end appliances, and a dark walnut island that's seen more late-night conversations than Instagram stories. Meals here aren't for show. They're for slow. The dining room opens to a terrace. And that terrace? It looks out across the valley, the peaks, the sky. Imagine finishing lyrics over whiskey as the sunset bleeds across the mountains. Now, follow the hallway past hanging guitars and framed platinum records. We're heading to the master suite, and it's breathtaking. A glass wall lets you wake with the sun. A spa-style bathroom features a soaking tub perched beneath a skylight. There's a walk-in closet that looks more like a showroom. But instead of fashion weak fits, it holds tour jackets, vintage tees, and beat-up boots. Then there's the basement, and this is where the story gets apocalyptic. Nicknamed the Apocalypse Bunker, Post's Utah home is fitted with bulletproof glass, reinforced steel infrastructure, a private generator, independent water and energy systems, and a hidden underground area only a few have ever seen. He built it not just for comfort, but for survival. Because when the lights go out, this place stays on. And yet it never feels paranoid. It feels prepared, calm, thoughtful. Step outside. The backyard stretches like a whisper, a full outdoor oasis tucked in the wild. A shimmering pool reflects the sky. A fire pit anchors the stone patio, surrounded by soft seating and quiet conversations. There's a hot tub tucked beneath wooden beams, glowing under string lights. Follow a trail down to a patch of trees, and you'll find the walking paths Post uses to clear his mind, or perhaps to hum a new chorus into the quiet. There's a duality here, raw nature and engineered security, rustic soul and modern strength. It's the embodiment of Post Malone himself, a man caught between vulnerability and resilience, rebellion and reflection. In a world that constantly asks for more fame, more content, more noise, Post chose less. Less spotlight, less pressure, more room to breathe. This isn't a mansion for guests, it's a home for ghosts. The old versions of himself he's still learning to make peace with. Here, in Cottonwood Heights, he found something the charts could never give him. Stillness. But Post didn't always live in silence. Before this mountain refuge, there was a different view, glass towers and Hollywood stars. And it's in that contrast where the full picture of his lifestyle begins to take shape. Mansion in Beverly Hills. Before the mountains, there were skylines. Before fire pits under Utah stars, there were infinity pools stretching into the California night. And before Post Malone escaped to the quiet, he lived in the clouds. High above Los Angeles, nestled into the elite slopes of Beverly Hills, stood a different kind of sanctuary. Not built for solitude, but for spectacle. This was his California chapter. A $26 million mansion designed not to disappear, but to be seen. Perched on a prime ridgeline, the estate offered a full 180-degree view of the L.A. basin, sweeping across the city lights, the Pacific Ocean, and the distant silhouettes of palm-lined streets. Here, mornings began with golden haze, and nights ended with city glitter. This wasn't just a home. It was a statement. Spread across 11,200 square feet, the mansion unfolded like a modernist masterpiece. Glass was everywhere, from floor-to-ceiling windows to sliding walls that dissolved the boundary between indoor and out. The result? A house that felt like it floated above the world. Cool marble floors reflected sunlight. Dark wood ceilings added contrast. The aesthetic was sleek, minimal, but powerful, a mirror of Post's fame at its peak. The open-concept living area was the heart of the home. One continuous space, unbroken. A lounge that melted into a dining room, which flowed into a sculptural kitchen made of white stone and black steel. Everything pointed outward, toward the view. Even the furniture was arranged to face the glass, as if the city itself were the centerpiece. But upstairs, the tone shifted. The master suite was Post's personal kingdom. It took up the entire top floor, complete with a private terrace hovering over Los Angeles. Inside, a walk-in closet as large as most apartments, and a spa-style bathroom dressed in marble, with a soaking tub positioned to catch the sunset. Luxury met intimacy in a way that few homes ever achieve. Then there were the extras. A private screening room with tiered leather recliners, a gym built for on-the-road recovery, a guest wing with 6 additional bedrooms, each with its own ensuite, each quietly glamorous. This was where he hosted, collaborated, created, where producers dropped beats in the studio room downstairs while friends played pool under neon lights, where deals were made and dreams got bigger. And then, the backyard. Oh, the backyard. The infinity pool wrapped around the house like a stream of liquid glass. Fire features rose from stone patios. A sunken lounge pit sat beneath the stars, with flames crackling beside cocktails and conversations. There was even a putting green, because why not? This wasn't where Post Malone escaped the spotlight. It's where he basked in it. A mansion made for music videos, late-night jam sessions, and the kind of lifestyle most people only dream about. But something shifted. Maybe it was the pressure. Maybe it was the speed. Or maybe after the platinum albums and the Grammys, Post started craving something the Hollywood Hills couldn't give him. Silence. Not absence, but presence. Not retreat, but reconnection. So he did what most superstars would never dare to do. He walked away. From the lights. From the scene. From the mansion that soared above the clouds. And he built a fortress in the mountains. Because sometimes, you don't need more glass to see clearly. You just need distance. And in that distance, he found something deeper than luxury, a new definition of home. But a view from the hills isn't the only thing that once defined Post's California days. Because when the doors closed and the lights dimmed, another kind of collection whispered luxury, one made not of marble or glass, but of horsepower. And in the garage? That's where the real pulse of Post Malone's speed, soul, and swagger began to roar. Let's open the gates and meet the machines. Cars, Bugatti Chiron, the dark pulse of precision. You don't drive a Bugatti Chiron, you unleash it. Post Malone's matte white Chiron, rumored to cost over $3 million, is a creature of rare beauty and terrifying speed. A machine born from French engineering and futuristic madness. But why this car? Because Post doesn't just love speed. He respects craftsmanship. He once said the Chiron made him feel like he was driving the future. It's not about racing, it's about reverence. He's been seen cruising it late at night through LA's empty boulevards. No entourage, no flashing lights, just man and machine. Ford F-150 Raptor. Country muscle, city attitude. From million-dollar hypercars to something a little more rugged, meet the Ford F-150 Raptor Velociraptor, a beast built for dirt, storms, and unpaved dreams. It's his go-to ride in Utah. With lifted suspension, off-road tires, and a supercharged V6, this truck can handle mountains, mud, and the apocalypse. Because when you own a bunker mansion in the wilderness, you don't pull up in a Prius. There's a reason this truck shows up again and again in paparazzi photos outside his ranch. It's not just a vehicle, it's a shield. Lamborghini Aventador S5, the Italian roar. Then there's the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, or as Post calls it, the Screaming Angel. Aggressive angles, a carbon fiber wing, and an engine that sounds like a storm hitting a cathedral. This isn't a daily driver. It's a weekend warrior. A car that appears when the mood calls for it. Loud, defiant, untamed. He's driven it to music video shoots, pulled up to award shows in it, and once said the SV feels like wearing a jetpack with wheels. With a top speed of over 217 miles per hour, it's no surprise. Rolls-Royce Phantom, silence in motion. But for every roar, there's a whisper. And Post's Rolls-Royce Phantom, in all its ghost-like white elegance, is exactly that. Silent, smooth, regal. Estimated at $450,000, the Phantom isn't about showing off. It's about arriving. It's the car he uses when the event calls for grace over flash. With lamb's wool carpets, starry ceiling lights, and rear seats that recline like thrones, it's a vehicle made for legends who no longer need to prove anything. It's also the car he crashed in 2018, a near miss that left him shaken but unharmed. A reminder that not even the smoothest rides can steer you away from life's unexpected turns. Together, these cars form more than a collection. They're a timeline. A biography written in horsepower, each engine a chapter, each drive a memory. But what fuels a lifestyle like this? Not just fame, not just music. Let's peel back the engine of his empire and count every dollar that drives it. $50 million. That's the number the world pins to Post Malone's name. But behind that figure isn't just music. It's a blueprint of how to turn passion, pain, and pure originality into an empire. But here's the twist. Post never chased wealth to buy status. He used wealth to buy freedom, to retreat, to write, to raise his daughter in silence, to build a home that didn't need applause. $50 million isn't just a number. It's a permission slip. To say no. To say yes. To disappear when the world wants you visible, and reappear only when you're ready. But Post didn't keep it all. Because behind every signed check was another act of generosity. Quiet, steady, and deeply human. So how does a global icon use his fortune when no one's watching? Let's follow the trail. To causes that matter, and kindness that doesn't need headlines. Philanthropy. Beneath the face tattoos, beneath the chains and the chart-topping bravado, there's a heart that quietly gives. Post Malone doesn't need cameras to donate. He doesn't need applause to care. In a world that thrives on grand gestures and PR headlines, he's chosen something else entirely. Quiet generosity. So, where did it start? Some say it began in his early days in Utah, when the silence of the mountains gave him space to think about more than just music. Others point to his love for community, the way he's always surrounded himself with friends, creatives, and misfits. But maybe, just maybe, it started with one simple belief. If I'm lucky enough to have it, someone else should benefit too. And benefit they did. In a move that stunned fans and humbled critics, Post pledged to donate $1 million of his own money. But here's the twist. He didn't choose where the money would go. He asked them. He opened the floor to his fans. "Tell me who needs help," he said. And they responded. With causes, with names, with stories. From that wave of collective compassion, something beautiful bloomed. Then came Gaming for Love, a series of 4 live Twitch streams where Post teamed up with his fans and followers to raise nearly $200,000. He played games, he cracked jokes, he stayed up for hours. But behind the fun was a purpose. The money went to organizations that speak for those who often go unheard: Human Rights Watch, Project Hope, the Trevor Project, and United Way. Each dollar was a lifeline. Each laugh was a bond. It was more than charity, it was community. But Post wasn't done. In 2023, he partnered with Raising Cane's, not just to design a restaurant, but to fundraise for Notes for Notes, a Nashville-based nonprofit that provides teens with access to professional recording studios and instruments for free. Together, they raised over $500,000. Because Post knows what it's like to write music with nothing but a beat-up laptop and a dream. He wants the next kid with a song in their heart to have more than he did. He wants to hand them a mic and say, "Go, create, be heard." And then there was the acoustic guitar. Simple, wooden, signed by Post himself. He donated it to a charity auction for Utah veterans, a gesture as raw as it was real. No grand show, no viral campaign, just one instrument, one cause, one artist who remembered what matters. Because giving, to Post Malone, isn't a performance, it's personal. It's a reflection of who he is when the stage lights fade, when the studio doors close, when the cameras aren't rolling. It's in his tattoos, his lyrics, his silence. And maybe that's why it resonates. Because when someone known for excess chooses empathy, when someone who could live anywhere builds a life in the mountains, you start to realize this man isn't just writing songs, he's rewriting what it means to be a star. But even the most generous hearts carry their own stories of love, solitude, and quiet pain. So what does life really look like for Post Malone? The man, the father, the wanderer, when no one's watching. Let's step into his present. Not the performer, but the person. Personal life. He built a house with bulletproof glass, but not even that could shield his heart. At first glance, Post Malone's life today seems like a dream tucked inside a mountain. Peaceful, private, perfect. But look closer, and you'll find something more fragile and more real. In 2022, the world saw a different side of Post. The headlines didn't scream about platinum records or sold-out tours. They whispered, he's going to be a father. He kept it quiet. No big announcement, no red carpets, just a simple interview, a smile, and the revelation that he was expecting a daughter with his longtime partner. Later revealed as Hee-sung Jamie Park, a Korean designer and artist who had stood beside him away from the spotlight for years. Their daughter was born quietly. Her name never made the tabloids. But her initials, DDP, were inked into his skin just above his temple, like a vow written in black. She changed him. Suddenly the music softened. Songs like Yours, from his album F1 Trillion, weren't just ballads. They were lullabies, glimpses into a father imagining the day his baby girl would one day grow up, fall in love, maybe even walk down the aisle. But life isn't a fairy tale, even in a fortress in Utah. By the end of 2024, something had shifted. Whispers of a quiet separation turned into court filings in Los Angeles. Jamie Park, his fiancée, had requested official custody of their daughter. She cited that their child had lived with her since November and asked Post to cover legal expenses. There were no public statements, no drama, no accusations, just silence. The kind that says everything. And yet, life went on. In early 2025, Post began appearing in public with someone new, Christy Lee, a design student from Parsons. They were spotted at art shows, walking through airport terminals, holding hands on ski slopes. But again, no press releases, no flashy Instagram debuts. Just two people trying to find rhythm in a world that rarely gives artists room to be human. Today, Post's life is quieter, not empty, just intentional. He spends most of his time at the Utah ranch, writing, recording, raising his daughter when he can. There are hikes through the pines, nights by the fire pit, hours in his home studio lost in melody. He plays Magic, the Gathering, the way some people meditate. He cooks sometimes. He games often. He dreams, always. Friends say he's mellow, focused, still funny, still weird, still Post. But there's a maturity in his eyes now, a tenderness. The fame is still there, but it doesn't consume him anymore. Because maybe Post Malone has finally realized something. Peace isn't found in silence alone. It's in choosing what deserves your voice. And so, the man who once lived above Beverly Hills now finds peace among pines. The star who sang about rock stars now sings about memories. And the artist who once chased the charts now chases only one thing: stillness. Because in the end, Post Malone isn't just a name. It's a rhythm. A beat that lives quietly between heartbreak and healing, fame and fatherhood, fortune and freedom. And somewhere, in the golden stillness of a Utah sunset, he's writing the next verse. If Post Malone's story moved you, from mountain silence to diamond success, from quiet heartbreak to quiet healing, don't let it end here. Like, share, subscribe. Because behind every mansion lies a melody, behind every tattoo, a truth. And there's always more to uncover in the lives we thought we knew. See you in the next story.